the child called Miracle, which is a great name for a child. Really, really breathless, breathing at about 100 breaths a minute, aged just 6 months. And that, if you know anything about child's respiratory rates, a child should not be breathing at 100 a minute. The child of that age should be going at about, maybe 40, 50. So you're more than twice as rapid as possible. Totally unable to feed and kind of gasping, and the oxygen levels in the blood were already dropping. They were kind of low 70s. And I remember listening to this child and hearing this really loud heart murmur and just kind of crackles everywhere. And basically, the child was in heart failure and had pneumonia. And we kind of cycled through about 3 different antibiotics. We put on something called frusemide, which is a diuretic, try and get the fluid off. And we kind of weren't making much progress um, until we set up something called CPAP. So um, most of the time, a child like that would be on a ventilator if they're in the UK or the US. They'd have a tube put down their trachea and the machine would just breathe for them. Now, we don't have that in Liberia. What we have is reliable oxygen and plastic mineral water bottles. And you might think, well, what does that have to do with anything? But what you can do is you get an oxygen tube and you run it from an oxygen concentrator into the child's nose, and you put the other end of it deep inside the mineral water bottle. And that creates a pressure which pushes oxygen into the child's lungs. And once we got that on Miracle, it was interesting. We set it up, and I honestly thought this is unlikely to work. But 2 days in, the breathing had significantly eased, and the pressure was basically pushing all the excess fluid out of Miracle's lungs. So we did that. I mean, Miracle was on CPAP for 4 or 5 days, I think, just on fluids and CPAP and diuretics and antibiotics. And right before Christmas, the breathing finally settled to the point where we could say, okay, we're taking this CPAP off. And we just went on to normal, simple oxygen. And amazingly, the breathing stayed settled. And Miracle's been back in a couple of times just for heart checkups and things. And she's got Down syndrome. She's got trisomy 21. So there's a few ongoing health issues there. But that is another child who, again, without that reliable electricity, without those medicines to hand, without those oxygen concentrators. I mean, we have, Jesus Loves Me has the most oxygen concentrators in one place of any hospital in Liberia. And again, only possible because of you guys. Each one's about $1,000. So you need some pretty committed people to keep buying oxygen concentrators. So yeah,
That's
so
beautiful.
that's what's kept Miracle going.
Yeah.